She was just cleaning the conference room when she saw a folder no one was supposed to see. A week later, the company vanished from the market, and her name was never mentioned. But she's the one who pressed the button. 7:42 a.m. The 39th floor of Halden Capital was dead silent, like the building itself was holding its breath. Kamila stood just outside conference room B, holding a half-crushed microfiber rag in one hand and a bottle of glass cleaner in the other. Her janitor badge dangled from her hoodie, swinging slightly each time the air conditioning kicked on. She wasn't supposed to be here yet. Not on this floor, not at this hour. But she'd swapped shifts to help out another single mom. That's all, just a small, quiet favor. And that's why she was the first, and only a person to see the folder. Thick, black, sitting right in the center of the long glass table, lit up like a stage prop by the overhead spotlight. It was out of place. Everything in this room screamed minimalism and status, from the chrome chairs to the untouched Evian bottles. But that folder? It looked human. Tired, stuffed with mistakes. Kamila hesitated. Not because she was nosy, because she was careful. Because people like her don't get second chances in buildings like this. She took a step closer, and then a voice behind her sliced through the quiet. "Excuse me, what exactly are you doing here?" Cold, male, expensive shoes, slim-fit suit, a Bluetooth earpiece like he's expecting Wall Street to call any second. Mr. Evan Riles, Vice President of Strategic Operations. Kamila had seen him once, yelling at someone in the hallway for using the wrong coffee pod. She straightened up. "I was just cleaning. Early start. They asked me to—" "This floor doesn't get cleaned until 9:30. Who authorized you?" She blinked. Nobody authorized her. She swapped a shift. She thought it'd be helpful. She thought being early was responsible, but here, helpful gets you questioned, and responsible gets you cornered. "Did you touch anything?" he asked, stepping around her toward the table. "No," Kamila answered quickly. Too quickly. Because this folder contains confidential material. Highly sensitive. People lose their jobs over less. He picked it up like it had germs on it, flipped it open, skimmed a few pages, then slammed it shut. His jaw tightened. "Don't go into rooms you're not assigned to, and stay off this floor unless scheduled. Understood?" Kamila nodded, and that should have been the end. But it wasn't. Because as Mr. Riles turned away and walked out with the folder tucked under his arm, she saw something. Just a flash. A single page that slipped loose from the folder and landed near the trash can. Face up, a printed email. Subject line: "Acquisition proposal, final terms, sent to rival." Wait! What? Kamila froze. She shouldn't have seen that. She really shouldn't have seen that. But it was there. She blinked, and it was gone. Scooped up by Riles with a muttered curse and stuffed back in the folder. But the words were burned into her brain. Final terms, rival, acquisition. Her gut turned, and suddenly everything around her felt off. The silence, the early meeting, the panic in his eyes. Something big was happening, and she had seen 1 second too much. She didn't say anything, not that day, not the next. But everything started changing. Her schedule got switched without warning. She was reassigned to lower floors. Then came the incident report, completely made up. Someone claimed she'd entered a private office unauthorized. HR opened an investigation. Her job was hanging by a thread, and she knew exactly why. Because she had picked up a rag and tried to do her job early, that's all. But here's the thing. Kamila wasn't just a cleaner. She had eyes and a memory. And now she had a reason to pay attention, because someone at Halden Capital was hiding something, and the system was already trying to erase her before she could realize it. To be continued. What happened next changed everything. You won't want to miss how this spirals, and how one woman turns the system against itself. Kamila wasn't angry, not at first. She was tired. The kind of tired that sinks into your bones, makes your breath shallow, makes you second-guess the time on every clock. She kept her head down, followed the new schedule, cleaned the same 3 floors like clockwork. But something had shifted. The building felt colder. Colleagues stopped making eye contact. Emails from supervisors became clipped, cold, legal-sounding, like they were building a case. She knew how this went. You push a little, you see too much. The machine doesn't scream, it adjusts. Quietly, strategically, and one day you just don't show up on the calendar anymore. On Tuesday, they moved her to the mailroom. A demotion, unofficial of course. She was told they were short-staffed and that she'd be a great fit because of her attention to detail. Right. She didn't argue, she nodded, took the key, opened the beige door to the one room in the building that smelled like toner and corporate lies. But the mailroom saw everything, and that's when Kamila really started watching. Week 1 in the mailroom, she saw 6 identical envelopes, no return address, marked confidential strategic sale, internal review. They weren't addressed to Halden execs, they were headed to Rayburn Holdings, Halden's biggest, loudest, and most hated rival. Why would anyone at Halden be sending files to Rayburn? She checked the internal directory. None of the names matched active employees. Ghost addresses, shadow senders. Something was being moved, secretly and through her hands. So she did what any careful black woman in a white glass tower would do. She scanned the envelopes, logged the dates, started connecting dots. That's when the warning came. Thursday afternoon. She was sweeping by the vending machine on the mezzanine when Riles appeared, again like a ghost in tailored wool. Kamila, a moment. He didn't wait for her to answer. Led her into a side hallway out of sight. You've been moved around a lot lately, that's unfortunate. I imagine it's been stressful. He said it like he cared, but his smile was dry as printer paper. You're not in trouble, not yet. But I'd advise you, very strongly, to stop looking so closely at things. People in your position aren't expected to think too much. That's a gift. She stared at him. A gift? Yes, the luxury of simplicity. Don't lose it. And then he walked off, just like that. That night, Kamila didn't sleep. She lay on her second-hand mattress, her baby girl snoring softly in the next room, and stared at the water stains spreading on her ceiling. She thought about how little she had, and how quickly they wanted to take even that. All because she saw a folder. All because she picked up a damn rag early. That's when something shifted. Not just in her schedule, in her. She went to work the next morning in silence. No music, no makeup, no coffee. She walked straight past her new assignment and took the elevator to floor 40, where she wasn't supposed to be. She had one name, one office, one chance. Gregory Klein, Chief Financial Officer. Known for being smart, sharp, but detached. The kind of man who drank scotch from crystal and kept 4 locked drawers in his desk. Kamila wasn't there to beg. She was there to drop something off. A USB drive. No note, no label. Just the drive. Inside, every scanned envelope, every mailroom log, and the internal timestamp of that final terms email she'd seen weeks ago. It was a risk, but she figured if the whole company was being sold under the table, somebody had to still care. Right? She never heard back. No reply, no questions, no thank you, just silence. Deeper than before. 2 days later, it started. First, the emergency board meeting, then the whispers, then the headlines. Halden Capital shares suspended amid acquisition rumors. Anonymous leak reveals internal chaos at Halden. CEO makes unusual move, sells entire operation to historic rival. Kamila watched it happen like it was a dream. Executives scrambling, phones blowing up, suits arguing in the hallways. Something was unraveling, and the people who pulled the strings were suddenly yanking them too fast. But Kamila wasn't safe, because now they knew someone had exposed them. And in buildings like Halden, the only thing worse than being invisible is being noticed. To be continued. This is the climax. Everything you've waited for, it's here. Stay and see how one woman made the market blink. Kamila wasn't at work when the story broke. She was on the Sabra 14 bus, heading back from the pharmacy with a pack of discount cough syrup for her daughter. The TV above the driver's seat was playing Bloomberg News on mute, just scrolling headlines. But one headline hit her like a punch to the chest. Halden Capital acquired by rival and sudden. Secret deal. Whistleblower may be involved. She blinked. Then the next headline. CEO Thomas Halden disappears from public eye after transfer of all assets to Rayburn Holdings. And the next. Board shocked by internal leak. Sources say someone on the inside had the receipts. Kamila didn't move. The bottle of syrup rolled gently in the plastic bag at her feet. She felt nothing for a full 5 seconds. Then heat, then fear, then a strange, stubborn calm. Because she knew. The system had blinked, and she was still standing. The rest of the day passed like fog, phone calls, news clips, people speculating on Reddit like they knew what happened. But they didn't know about the folder. They didn't know about the hallway warning. They didn't know about her. Nobody did. And then at 6:13 p.m., her phone buzzed. Unknown number. One text. Check your email. She opened it. One unread message. No subject line. Inside, a link to a private server. One file titled simply, The Button. She clicked. It was video footage. Surveillance from the conference room on floor 40. Timestamped 2 days ago. In the video, CEO Thomas Halden, CFO Gregory Klein, Evan Riles. Tension so thick it felt like glass. Riles was yelling, Halden was pacing. Klein sat still, arms crossed. And then Halden, red-eyed, slumped, beaten, said it, They won't take the deal unless it's clean, and we're not clean. The numbers won't pass scrutiny. Riles hissed, So you're just going to give it away? To them? Halden pointed to the folder on the table. I already did. Silence. Then Halden stepped forward, reached into his coat, pulled out a small black device. One red button. I made a decision. Burn the ship. Let Rayburn take it. Let the market go crazy. They'll never see it coming. Riles shouted. Klein stood up. Chaos. And then Halden pressed it. The button. The screen went black. Kamila just sat there, mouth dry, hands shaking. He sold everything to the one company they swore to destroy, and did it as a way to escape the scandal quietly, leaving everyone else to deal with the fallout. It wasn't betrayal, it was strategy. Twisted, cold, brilliant strategy. But here's what they didn't count on. Someone else saw the whole board. Next day, Kamila walked into the building like it was the first time. The security guard who used to ignore her now looked nervous. People stared. She walked past them, past reception, past the elevator, and into the conference room. It was empty, except for Gregory Klein. Same scotch, same cold stare. He didn't ask why she was there, he simply said, I know it was you, and I also know it had to be done. She didn't speak. He slid an envelope across the table. Inside, a letter of non-disclosure, a contract for external ethics consultant, temporary, high pay, off the books, and a signed apology for the misconduct report in her file. Her eyes narrowed. This is hush money. No, he said. This is recognition. Quiet recognition. But if you want it loud, we can go that route too. Kamila took the envelope, stood, and then said with zero fear, Next time you want to hide something, don't leave it in a room I can clean. And walked out. Later that week, a small update hit the news cycle. Just a line buried in the footnotes. Halden's internal mailroom staff member credited anonymously with exposing irregularities. Exact identity unknown. No one knew it was her, but the system did. And now it knew not to underestimate the person who just wanted to help out another mom on a Thursday morning. Because she didn't break the system, she made it break itself.